Hello and welcome to College Students Talking. I am your host, Austin Murray, and today's topic is going to be working while in college. And today's guest is Emily Pillow. You want to say hi? Or you just
Hi.
What year are you, Emily?
I am a freshman.
How are you liking it so far?
I'm liking it pretty well. Just a big adjustment between high school and college.
So, who's been your favorite professor so far? Obviously, you're still in your first semester, so you've only had like 5 classes, I'm assuming. So, who's your favorite?
My favorite professor is probably Dr. Tu. I probably sound biased, but I do enjoy his class and the way he teaches.
It's fine. He's just, paying for the podcast and whatnot. So
Yeah. Not sponsored.
We can totally just hype him up. That's cool. But no, he was, all seriousness, he was my favorite professor too my first year. He's really funny and he makes it fun to learn. I like being in his class and getting to, like, he picks on the students, but he doesn't do it in a derogatory way. He does it in a very involved way and really makes you feel like you're a part of the lesson.
Yeah, my face got put on the board today.
I saw he posted you on Facebook as
yeah,
like a
he
picture.
posted the same picture.
No, did
Yeah,
he put it on the
screen.
projector?
Yes, he did.
That's funny. So what's your major then?
My major is financial management.
Financial management, nice. That's right up Dr. Tu's alley because he's a finance guy. He's got his doctorate in that. So obviously today we are talking about working while being in college. So it's obviously your first semester and just how busy, not even talking about job, how busy is it being in college in general? Just what you have to do for college, any extracurriculars you have, kind of describe what you do.
It is so busy. My classes are pretty much set right after another all week. And after that I'm in FBLA and that takes up a lot of time because I'm a freshman rep, but then I have about a 2-hour commute back and forth, like a round trip is about 2 hours for me, so I'm pretty busy all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then what job do you have?
I work as a shift manager at Popeyes.
And how many hours are you doing that per week?
I work anywhere between 25 and 30 hours a week.
Ooh, yeah, that's a decent amount. If you were working at A-State, if you worked over 28 hours, they'd have to give you benefits.
I got offered benefits, but I didn't take them.
Really?
Yeah.
Why'd you say no?
I saw my dad's health insurance, and I don't have to pay for it if I'm on his health insurance.
Oh, were they going to make you pay for yours? Like, pay
Yes.
for a portion of it?
I think every paycheck, we get paid every 2 weeks. I think for, like, the decent plan, it was like $500 coming out every 2 weeks. Because it's such a small company, they take a lot out.
Yeah, and since you can stay on your parents till you're 24, 25?
I thought it was 27.
I thought it was 27.
Oh, okay, 27. Yeah, you guys are right. I knew that. I was just testing you. But okay, so yeah, you can stay on your parents till you're 27. So I would, obviously, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah.
I'm on my parents as well, so I'm not paying for anything. So how busy, I have a job too, and I'll talk about myself a little bit more later, but how busy is it for you working on top of extracurriculars, on top of just college in general, the homework, the tests, the studying, how is it?
It's busy. Thankfully, I have a manager who's really, we have a couple of students in college, so she's really good about scheduling around that, and it's just really, I have more influence about my schedule because I am a shift manager. I can just be like, hey, on these days, I have stuff from this to this, and we have a lot of group projects going on in this first year, so I'm like, hey, I need to meet with my group, if you can schedule me either after we're done or before, but I'm always running back and forth between work and here.
So would you say that the commute is your biggest challenge?
I just have to get up earlier. That's probably like the worst part is I have to get up to factor in a 45-minute drive, and that's not Jonesboro traffic in the morning, so it's like an hour in the morning. At night, it's not really as bad, but the morning is what gets me.
Yeah, no, I am not a big drive in the morning kind of person. I love driving at night. I don't know what it is. You have your music on, it's nighttime. We were driving back from Little Rock the other day. I didn't mind driving back near as much as I minded driving up to Little Rock.
I just get so mad. I have road rage, like really bad. And if the worst thing to be is like behind a Ford, like Super Duty, those people who drive those trucks, turf drivers. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna slam on their brakes every 2 seconds.
one of the things that I hate when I'm driving is when a semi wants to pass another semi because they want to go 1 mile per hour faster.
And then you're stuck.
Yeah, like the speed limit is 70 for those big trucks. So you have one going 70, one going 72, and the speed limit for a car is 75. And so you're just sitting there like, come on, this is kind of ludicrous.
Exactly.
So I also work, obviously, I'm doing these podcasts, that's part of my job. So I am a student, let me get this right, I'm a financial wellness intern here at Scarlet to Black. And I do research, I run the podcast, I'm helping with some peer mentoring stuff. I actually just started doing that. I used to run the blog up until, I guess, last week actually. On top of that, I am an ambassador for the College of Business. I do FBLA. I'm an officer in that, the community service director, and then I have 6 classes this semester, one more than a normal full-time student. So for me, working on top of college is definitely a hassle. I mean, I love it. I love my coworkers. If I was doing something I hated, I would not be able to do it. So I was doing a job I hated when I started last year. I don't know if you know this actually.
No, I do not.
I was working, do you know what a multi-level marketing scheme is?
No.
The marketing major in the room knows what it is. So, you know what a pyramid scheme is, right?
Yes.
A multi-level marketing scheme is like a step down from a pyramid scheme, where basically they're constantly getting new recruits and people to come in, and then they're using those people and their family and their friends to sell products to them, and then they're basically just taking advantage of people. Now, they make decent money, but they're definitely kind of getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And so it's not as bad as a pyramid scheme where it's a literal scam and you're losing money in the long run, but because we didn't have to buy the products or anything, but we were basically, they just kind of use you to get at your family and your friends. And then the turnover rate, because I actually ended up being a manager there, was so high it wasn't even funny. Like people would work 1 week, 2 week, quit, 1 week, 2 week, quit. And so you're just getting them to like get 5 sales for you maybe from their friends and family, and then boom, they're gone. And some people do stay. I stayed there for about 3 months, and I was like selling to people I had never met before, cold calling people. Like you do eventually get there, but most of it is that ick. And I hated it. I couldn't stand it. The cold calls, it was just bad. I couldn't stand the environment, the ethics behind it. And so I actually ended up quitting, and I could not imagine working a job that I hated or disliked like that if I was doing the course load that I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
But back to just working in general, one of the biggest challenges for me is that I'm a big procrastinator, so I'll think, okay, so this assignment will take this much time, and so I'm gonna do it this weekend because it's due next week, so I can do all of this weekend and get it done. I know I'll have more than enough time to do it then. I'll just wait till this weekend. Then I get a text from one of my bosses and they're like, hey, we need you to do this and this for your job as well. I'm like, oh crap, I was gonna work on assignments, and then I end up working like 12, 14-hour days on Saturday and Sunday to get all my work done at once.
Yeah. So basically, my problem is I also procrastinate. I have been a lot better about it recently because I know that about 20 hours of my work week is gonna happen between Saturday and Sunday. And I'm like, if I have something due at 11:59 on Sunday night and I'm scheduled 11 to 8, I don't know that I'm going to get to leave at 8 o'clock. So sometime during the week before, if I know I have it due, I'm like, I better get this done because, fast food, you're never guaranteed to go home on time. So I've been a lot better about that recently. And then if I usually work mid shifts, I'm off by about 8 o'clock every day during the week, but not always. So if I have something to do or something I know I need to turn in class the next day, I try to do it the last time I've had that class, like the evening of. So.
And then you also told me that because you work fast food, when you close, you never get off fast. So.
No. If our estimated closing time, if we close at 10, we try to get out by midnight, and if we close at 11, we try to get out by 1 a.m.
Yeah, I've had some friends who work in fast food and they tell me very similar things, and I just could not imagine, you close the doors at 11 and then you're cleaning for 2 hours after that. That would kill me. When I worked at Ultimate Air back in high school, we would close the doors at say 8 o'clock, we'd be completely like each person would have their own job to do with cleaning. Some people would be wiping down mats, some would be wiping down dodgeballs, some would be wiping down handrails or whatever, and we would have all of the cleaning for the whole building done in 30 minutes. Like, we wanted to be out of there. We would like race because you have to like spray and then wipe down with this big broom thing. And so since it's all on trampolines, we would like jump and like run, jump across and like spray. We'd spray first because those squirters, they could squirt distance. So you squirt like as much as you could see, and then you would just sprint around to clean everything and sanitize it. So I could not imagine cleaning for 2 hours. How does that affect your motivation when you're having to deal with people and fast food, and then you have to go home and you have an assignment due at midnight and you have 4 hours to work on it?
I definitely have good days at work. There are some days I walk in, it runs smoothly, I get to go home. I'm like, okay, it was a good day at work. Other days, the customers are draining, my underage and fellow employees are draining because they always have something to say about everything. And then I'll get phone calls all night where stuff's been messed up during the day that I have to fix. And then I'll need something from my general manager and she won't reply. And I'm like, I can do this tomorrow. I'm just going to go home and go to bed.
I definitely have days like that. For instance, yesterday I told myself, hey, you're going to do this for this class, you're going to do this for this class, and then you're going to do all of your reading for next week. And I was so mentally exhausted by the time I finished all the assignments I wanted to do. I sat down to read, and I probably read one paragraph 8 times, and then I put the book down and I was like, this isn't happening. I cannot focus on this reading. I'm mentally exhausted. I tried to put on like a YouTube summary video of the reading just so I would like have some idea what was going on, and I could barely even pay attention to like the summary video.
Yeah, I worked 11 to 8 yesterday, and my registration opened at midnight, and I was like, I'm going to register early, and I was like, I'm going to get home about 8:30, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to do my business calculus homework until I have to register. I took a shower, I laid in my bed and opened my laptop, and I was like, YouTube's a good idea right now.
Yeah.
So I put on YouTube, and I was like, I'm probably going to fall asleep, so I set an alarm for midnight. I definitely fell asleep and did not do any work. But I did register. That's all that matters.
Hey, if it works, it works. I mean, what I usually do is I do similar stuff. I'll be like, I'm going to do this assignment today, and then the day comes and I'm like, technically, I have time to do it tomorrow instead. And then the assignment ends up getting pushed back to the next day, and then I'm like cramming. I have like 2 or 3 to do that day. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But the day before, I'm just like, hey, I get to watch extra YouTube or this or that or play a game, whatever it is, just relax.
I am really bad about that. I'll be like, I need to get these assignments done this weekend, and then it'll come Sunday night and I'm going to bed and I'm like, I actually didn't do anything this weekend.
I have a whiteboard at home, and I literally, because obviously my job is you work whenever you have a chance. I don't have, you have hours and stuff. Mine is not that way. I get tasks and I do my tasks. So I do research. So whenever I have free time or I feel like it, I work on my research paper or I analyze data. And I'm kind of waiting to do more of my research stuff because I'm waiting to get more data at the end of the semester. But pretty much, I have a whiteboard at home. It has 50 things listed on there at once. And I look up the board every now and then and I'm like, okay, this one's going to get done on this day, this one's going to get done on this day, this one's going to get done on this day. And that helps me kind of delegate when stuff is going to get done. And I do usually do pretty good. And if I want to take one thing off, I'll do this really bad thing where I see a big assignment, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that yet. And then I see an easy one and I'm like, I'll just do this one today. It's the same number of assignments. And then the next day when I have 2 really big ones in the same day, I'm like, oh, you hate yourself. Why'd you do that?
So I got a planner at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I'm going to write everything down. Yep. I'm going to forecast my week, listen to Alyssa. Alyssa seems like she has it together. And I have been really bad about not writing stuff in my planner. Like a professor will say something, and I'm like, I'll write it down later. And then it never gets written down. And then it's the night before, and I'm like, oh yeah, 2 days ago he said.
So you brought up Alyssa. Her schedule, have you seen her planner before?
Yes, that's why I'm jealous.
No, do not be jealous. No, hers has
how much stuff she has to do. Jealous that she has it together.
No, I sit next to her, and one of our classes, and no joke, every day she'll like pull it up as she's doing stuff because she is never just listening to a professor. She's always working on a second assignment while listening to a professor talk. And she'll pull up the thing to either see what she has to do, add something, click something as done, and I just look at hers and I'm like, you have that many things to do today? I could not. Like, she has every single thing listed, exactly how she's going to do it, when she's going to do it, and I'm just like, wow, that's not me.
No, I definitely fly by the seat of my pants a lot more than I should, but looking at hers, I'm like, I should be like that, but it's not going to happen.
No, you definitely don't have to be like that. I'm not like that. I have a calendar where if there's an event or something, I have it on my calendar, and so every single event that I'm in charge of or I have to be at, it's going to be on there. So like Real Talk on Wednesday at noon, that's on there. I have all of my classes on there, and that just helps me see what's going to happen. And then I have an assignments list where all the assignments from the syllabus, and this is actually a good idea if you haven't done this, it's a really easy thing to do. Since your professors are required to give you a syllabus, most syllabi, not all, but a lot of them, will have a list of all the assignments and their due dates for the whole semester. And what I do at the beginning of the year, I get all 5, or in this case, I got 6 syllabi, and I put every single assignment in it, and then I put the due date in the next column. And then I also have a formula I made that tells me if it's due within a week or if it's past due. And I sort it by due date, and so throughout the semester I just go down and I mark things as done or not, or I mark all the stuff I do, and it'll automatically update to tell me, hey, this is due within 7 days, hey, this is due within 7 days. And it has saved my life so many times because I've forgotten about an assignment. I open it and I'm like, oh crap, that's due in 4 days? Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I did that at the beginning of the year whenever I got all my syllabi, and then I've had a lot of professors that have pushed one due date back, which pushes all the other ones back, and I'm like, what I have in my planner right now, I'm supposed to be like 9 lessons ahead on my business calculus, but we're still doing this. This should have happened 2 weeks ago, so.
Yeah, especially with math classes, those usually end up going by how people are doing. So like if they get that first test grade back and it's like a mean score of like a 65, they're like, ooh, so we're gonna scrap that test, we're gonna have a retake next week, and we're going to do this or do that. And then yeah, I agree. It is annoying to have to change stuff, but it does help me just keep track of what's happening, what I need to get done, what's not done.
Yeah.
But mentioning what you said earlier about just forgetting about stuff, for instance, Melanie texted me last Monday and said, hey, I need you to get this done this week or super early next week for me, please. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, absolutely, I'll get that done. Brushing my teeth this morning, I'm like, I'm forgetting something. Oh, crap, I didn't do that. And so, no joke, probably while I was in class this morning listening to, it wasn't a professor, there was a guest speaker. While I was listening to our guest speaker talk, I was just working on that assignment for work, and then I emailed it to her today. But overall, working in college is a challenge. It's not something that's going to be easy. It's not something that's going to be great. But if you're working somewhere where you're happy, where it's ethical, where you like your coworkers, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. It's definitely nice to have that cash. We didn't even talk about this, but it is nice. That paycheck, when you see that paycheck and those zeros, saving, budgeting, it makes it all worth it. And there's gonna be long nights. There's gonna be times when you're like, oh, no, I forgot this. I have to cram it all in. And you're gonna look in the mirror and you're like, why do you always procrastinate? Why do you not do stuff on time? Fun fact, all college students look in the mirror and say, why do you procrastinate? Everyone does it. That's completely normal. I've done it 5 times today. Like, it's just, don't judge yourself too harshly. Make sure that you understand that you are not alone and that everyone procrastinates, everyone makes mistakes, and especially if you're working on top of school, there's gonna be days where you are mentally exhausted. You look at that paper and you go, I'm not doing this today, I'm gonna do it tomorrow or the next day. So, I think that's gonna be it for this week's podcast. It was a lot of fun. Any final remarks? Anything else you want to say?
No.
No? Do you want to say bye to all the people?
Bye.
Bye.
Wait, y'all gotta say bye to the camera.
Bye, camera.